guys, thanks for tuning in. This is OPTIBOTIMUS coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Rattrap. The sarcastic smart aleck himself finally comes to us in a generation form. And this guy has been sought after for a long time. Ever since they started doing the Beast Wars figures, all the way back with Dinobot and Cheetor. Rattrap was one that they absolutely needed to make. Fans love this guy. And when we got Rhinox, a lot of people knew that at some point, Rattrap was down the pipe. And from the looks of it, this does not disappoint. Now, as you can see, it does come with the Thrilling 30 comic thing in the back with an IDW comic with Rattrap. Whether or not they actually have him in the story, I don't know. A lot of these comics, they don't seem to focus on it. They just kind of tell a specific story. Come down here to the bottom, you see the Thrilling 30 with the Maximal logo there. Down here on the bottom, you see Tankor and Crosscut. Now, Crosscut has been pushed back, but it's still supposed to come out. But Tankor's out now as well. Then you come around here to the back of it, you've got his tech specs, his rat mode as well as his robot mode, and it says this Maximal spy can infiltrate any area because he's willing to go where no other bot is willing to go. The garbage. Burrowing through trash and rubble keeps Rattrap out of the line of fire. You could say he's not courageous, but then you probably haven't smelled that trash barge. Really very fun. Now, one thing that I'm noticing is that this is a lighter copper color than this. This is more orange on his actual body, whereas this, like I said, it does look very copper-ish. And then you can see that he's got copper here on his thighs, that the copper, or the color here, is also orange. He also has a Maximal logo right there that is not on his thigh. So maybe they're showing like the Takara one or whatever, but regardless, this is Rattrap, and I am super excited to finally have him. So, without further ado, let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Rattrap opened up and out of its packaging. And this is really an absolutely phenomenal looking alt mode. I mean, this, when you don't look at the bottom of them, this has a very rat look. I mean, it's really quite impressive. The tail is very rat looking. You do have the weird brown butt, but that's how the original toy looked, so I like how they kept that. The Takara one has a little bit more of a cartoon accurate look to it, but for me this really does just nicely capture the actual likeness of Rattrap. You can see he's got black eyes instead of red eyes. Some people complain about that, but again, I think the Takara one actually has the red eyes. You got these really creepy, ugly rat feet that they're just creepy and rat-ish. He does have some teeth here. You can see that his mouth, you can open and close that. There's a little notch right there that you can make it open a little bit further like that. And one thing that's also really cool is that Rattrap very rarely walked around like this. A lot of the time he walked around on his hind legs. So what you can actually do is angle this. You can then take this, kind of angle these back just like so, kind of bring his arms down a little bit, and then you can actually take the head and rotate this down. And they actually thought to put a little piece here that just, it hides just in general right there, but when you rotate it down, you can pull that forward and it fills in that gap, and you can have him walking around standing upright basically, which again, that's an absolute wonderful touch that they didn't need to put in there, but I think that just looks great. Now, when you do it, his upper arms here are a little bit weird looking, and when you rotate them outward, you do get the whole jazz hands thing going. It doesn't look very natural like that, but at least you can get him standing like this. And I think that's, like I said, a wonderful touch that I didn't anticipate them doing, and I really didn't think that they needed to, but the fact that they did just really is a wonderful love letter to that actual character itself. But absolutely terrific looking. The articulation, as you can see, the head does move forward and back. When you do rotate it down, you do get his robot head, but you can push it a little bit further and kind of get that little, it's actually a little bit tough to do sometimes, to get that little flap to get out there. There we go. But so you do have that articulation. You can see that the mouth moves. These move. They do pop out. They don't stay locked in, but they are very secure in whichever way that you put them. So that comes in handy actually in the robot mode form, but we'll take a look at that here in a minute. The back legs you can see can move, but it does get a little bit limited due to a little piece that sticks out here that you kind of have to lift up and pull over. And then you got the feet that move forward and back. The tail moves forward and back at this actual hinge, but there's also a posable wire inside there, so you can get this sticking in a variety of different poses, and that's, again, a wonderful little touch. They could have just made it all one solid plastic piece, but I think that they did the right thing in making it actually posable. It works. I love it. Now, granted, he is a deluxe size, so he's obviously a lot bigger than what a rat would be, but in reality, he was a lot bigger in the actual show, too, so it's definitely not one of those scale things that they stuck to very religiously, and the Rattrap figure here kind of utilizes that same sort of thought process. He's a big figure, but I think it works fairly well, and I just really do love this guy. Now, transformation for him is actually a little bit of a pain to do. He doesn't have the most intuitive sort of transformation. It's not very fluid. It definitely has a very awkward sort of feel to it. First, what you want to do is well, you got his gun under here. It stores underneath. You got a little hole, the holes right there that the handle plugs into, but we'll just set that off to the side. So you're going to lift this, kind of detach all this. Well, actually, I should have done this. You pull these little pieces off to the side. There's a lot of tabbing that goes into this. Not much of a shell former. I think he does a pretty good job of avoiding that, but just the nature of what you have, he's gonna shell form. Pull these little arms up, just get him out of the way. And then take this back section here, and then just again, you're going to, there's a little hinge section here on the back that you want to hinge this up, kind of angle this, tuck this in, bring this all the way up just like so. And then you can see that there's another hinge that has his actual back section. You want to flex that back just a little. And then you just pull these legs down just like that. Again, getting these arms out of the way. Take these feet, kind of tuck those back, fold this, take this section here. I mean, the legs are really cool how they transform. This whole section folds on around just like that on both sides. You can see that they slide in and out. You want to slide it back in like that. You have it slid out for the rat mode, but get that lined up just right. Then bring this down. You can see that creates a little bit of a tab right there that slots right inside there. Then you just angle this bends down, push that in there, and then you actually take the rat foot, tuck that up under there, and that actually completes the actual foot, which, again, really interesting sort of engineering on this in terms of the legs. I'm really very impressed with it. So getting that, there we go, just like so. Bend this right there, make that straight, fold that in, push that in there, fold the foot up just like that. The tail, unfortunately, well, here, I'll get to that in just a second. Take this, keep these angled back, and then these arms, these are going to rotate out. It's kind of a, again, pain. Lift these, rotate that out, take the head, you can tuck that down like so. Make sure that you push this all the way down. Bring these arms up, rotate those around, up, rotate around, rotate them here at the elbow to straighten out the arms, just like that, just like that. Then these little guys, like I said, you can rotate these around. I actually like putting them down like so. You pull them out a little bit, but you keep the hands here in the back, and it's more accurate looking to the actual cartoon when you do it something like this. But like I said, these will pop off, but they are pretty secure in there. I mean, they're not falling off at all here, but there's not a permanent locking mechanism in there. Straighten everything out, and like I said, you got his tail. You can actually bend this up just to kind of make it look like it's not hanging out between his legs quite as much. And once you're done, there you have Rattrap, and transformed in his extremely cool looking robot mode. And as much as I love this guy's rat mode, his robot mode is that much better. This really does have a terrific, absolutely wonderful look to it. Now, there are some problems. It is not a perfect figure by any stretch of the imagination, but it just absolutely looks great. Yes, he does have a backpack, but it really, again, isn't all that bad. It's kind of accurate. I mean, he had this in the actual show, and the fact that they were able to sort of recreate it here is really very fun. Now, in terms of the nitpicks that I have, the one biggest one would probably be these ears. From a lot of different angles, you completely hide his face because of these ears. I don't know how they could have done this where the ears could have tucked away or anything like that. Whether or not they could, I don't know. It's from that sort of angle, and that you lose some of that coolness with him because you can't get him looking, for example, on an angle like this. I mean, you gotta have them looking at you straight on. The other thing that I don't particularly like is the way that these shoulders are designed. You got a hinge right here. Well, it's on a ball joint. It's a pretty tight ball joint. And when you lift it up and then you bring it down, you can see that this whole section right here also rotates down. It doesn't stay locked in. So when you're trying to move the arm, more often than not, that comes down with it. And that kind of sucks. I like having the tight joints here, but it's almost like it's too tight because it's just pulling that entire assembly section down. Beyond that really is my biggest nitpicks, I would say, with it. I love the fact that he comes with a gun and secret hidden bombs in his arms. I'll show that off here in a second. The gun actually has this little bit of a silvery kind of clear translucent plasticness to it, which I think, oh, I'm just going to keep knocking him over if he keeps doing that. I think it looks really very nice. It's hard to see, I know, because of the background, but there you have it. And it actually is two different guns. If I can get them to separate, they peg together and you can see the little round hole there, and then you got that, and they're two totally different guns, but when you put them together you create one big long rifle, which I like. I think it's a really nice weapon. And then, like I said, he does have shoulder bombs or forearm bombs. They come out, and then you have these, you just take them out just like so. And again, they're the little grenades, but they're in the same kind of plastic color as this. So I don't necessarily know why they decided to go with this. It's kind of weird. They also used it with his light piping, and it doesn't give off much light piping, to be totally honest with you. I mean, you're not seeing a lot. The eyes are painted with this nice red paint, and then the outside of them has the actual clear, so it just kind of highlights those eyes. It's really strange how they do that, but then these just tuck right back in his forearms. Put that down. I love how he's got Maximal logos right there and right there. Very tiny, but very cool nonetheless. It really is a great looking figure. First articulation, the head is on a very tight ball joint. You're not going to get, well, most of the up and down is coming from this little whole assembly right here, but it is on a ball joint, I believe. I don't think it, or maybe it is just a swivel. Maybe, yeah, I think it might actually just be a swivel, but you do get some up and down motion with it. The shoulders here, like I said, are on ball joints, so in, out, forward, and back. They rotate at the upper part of the elbow. They bend at about 45 degrees here, but they bend, oh no, that's 45 degrees backwards as well. So you get that range of motion. Doesn't rotate at the wrist, unfortunately. Doesn't rotate at the waist. Moves forward and back at the hips. Rotates here at the upper part of the thigh. Bends here at the knee. Nothing at the feet, unless you want to take this and fold that back, which I guess could just give you super big heels. I don't know why you would want to do that. I have heard some people complain about the softness of this plastic, saying that it's very rubbery, and I don't think it is. It's just the flesh color plastic. I don't feel as if this is fragile or anything like that. Specifically, they were talking about like the hinges here in the back, saying that they feel like they're going to break. I don't think that there's any worry that they'll break over time. They feel very sturdy. I don't know. I mean, you got the same plastic in here, and they're talking about that and I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But loads of articulation in this guy. He in general has a lot of character. I love the way that his toes, you got the little toenails here on him. I just love the way that he looks. He looks terrific. And finally, we have the Season 1 Beast Wars figures now with their Rattrap. And here you have them with them. Now, granted, this is the anniversary version of Optimus Primal, but honestly, that guy works perfectly, I think, for a modern toy. I don't really think we need an updated one. That's just absolutely perfect. But you can see these guys really do all look terrific together. And I really do hope they continue with the Beast Wars figures. A lot of the Predacons still need to be done. The Maximals are pretty much done. At least the ones that I'll be happy with. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Silverbolt, but the Predacons really need some help. I mean, right now, the only one that we got is Waspinator. So I really hope that we get some Predacon love here in the future. Now, the transformation back to his rat mode is not very graceful at all. A lot of it feels as if you're just kind of ramming things in. When you're transforming him, you're just, or into his robot mode, you're just basically pulling everything out. So it's not very graceful there either, but it's very cumbersome when you're going back to his rat mode. So we're just going to fold all these bits out, going to accordion this upward just like that. Do that on this side as well. The legs are the easiest part to do, so that's why we're starting with that. These bits here will rotate around, kind of angle these out like that, fold that down along the side. Do that on this side as well, pull that out, rotate that around, just like so. And then just kind of leave these dangling there. Take the head, straighten that out, rotate the rat head up. Again, just kind of get these out of the way. Just like that. I'm going to rotate those up to, again, get those out of the way. Then, like, these legs are just kind of, you're rotating these around, and it is a bit of a pain when you're trying to get it all arranged. Bring this around like that. Angle this whole section out, and then you're bringing this around over there, just kind of like that. Again, you're just kind of creating space here, keeping these legs tucked up here, keeping that tucked up there, kind of like that. That's basically how you're going to want to have these legs, something along those lines. Then you take these arms, these tuck in, then they rotate around, get that in there like so, rotate this around like that. Bring these in. Again, it is really just a fiddly kind of mess. And then you bring these out like that. No, rotate that around, sorry. Bring that down just like that. You're going to keep all of this tucked up under, give that a push, keep that rotated. Like I said, it's not very graceful when you're transforming this guy. Pull this section out, then angle this back again. It's a lot of cluster right here. You're just then gonna force this whole section down. These angle out on the sides. Again, you're just it is not a very fun transformation back to this mode. You have to tuck these little rat legs up here along the side. There we go. And then just kind of force everything in there. Tab these in, bring these in here along the side like that. And then, do I actually have these in the right? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. These actually have to go here with the that section down, because you've got a little slot on the inside here that you have to bring in, and then you have to push this section in. Get that there, like that. Do that on this side as well. Kind of line that up, push that in, straighten out these little rat legs here in the front like that. Straighten out his tail, kind of make sure that that's all tucked up under there. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, just making sure that you get a lot of these panels lined up and pushed in properly. There we go. There we go. And here you have Rattrap back in his rat mode. Now, all said and done, this is an absolutely terrific recreation of an absolutely fan-loved character. This is what Generations in Classics are all about. Giving us those very iconic characters in new updated forms that still very nicely remain true to the way they were originally. This guy is terrific. The alt modes are the best looking. Well, the different modes, I should say. The rat mode and the robot mode. The transformation, as you can see, is a bit messy. There's not a very cohesive nature to the transformation. When you're going to his robot mode, you're basically pulling everything out, and when you're going back to his rat mode, you're basically jamming everything back in. So there's not a lot of flow, and it's kind of frustrating at sometimes, but the way that they were able to still get a very cool looking rat mode for the most part, and then an outstanding looking robot mode, just really does impress me. He does, like I said, have the weapon storage. You got the hole right here. You just come around here and then you just tuck that up in there, and there you got the weapon storage. But this guy is great. There is not much else that I can say about him. A lot of Beast Wars figures I have a hard time liking because they just have too much robot junk hanging out. Yes, he does have that going on here in the bottom, but from every other angle, it just looks really well done. And that's one thing that I'll say about a lot of these new generation Beast Wars figures. Waspinator started it off great. They followed up with Rhinox, and that was terrific. And now we have Rattrap. But beyond that, I mean, like I said, that's about all I can think of to say. If you are interested in picking this guy up, he is slowly trickling out to retail. So good luck looking for him. If you have a hard time, there's always Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on that link down in the video description. You'll go there, and you can check out all their Transformer figures and pick up anything that you may need. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been OPTIBOTIMUS. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/OPTIBOTIMUS. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at OPTIBOTIMUSreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, as well as see what I have coming up for future release. And finally, guys, I'd also really appreciate it that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.